quick announcement before this video starts. I have put a honor guard code hidden somewhere within the video. I'm not going to tell you where it is or how far into the video it is. You'll just have to watch to find out. This code can be redeemable on the Epic Games website and is available for all platforms. So I suggest you watch all the way through the video to try and find the code. If you do find it, chuck it in the description, not the code I mean, but let us know that you found it, and I'll shout you out in the next video. What's up YouTube, my name is Hypr, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video, I'm doing a tutorial on how to loot the shark and how to get Skye's infinite shots grappler and also her awesome mythical scar. Now, this is not going to be as in-depth as my previous tutorial on the agency, but I hope you still find it helpful, and it just is to give you a general idea of how you might want to go about it. Now, if you end up liking this video, please go down and hit the like button. And if you're new around here, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and you can always unsubscribe later. Now, without any further ado, let's get into this video. Alright, so here we are, landing at the shark. The shark is located at the far northeast side of the map, top left-hand corner of the screen. You basically can't miss it. It's this big island-looking thing. Now, when I land here, what I like to do is I like to go up a little bit higher than normal, and I also like to go wide around the edge of the island. That way, I can get an idea of how many players are landing with me. Because one of the annoying things about these agent locations is actually that there are bots and normal players, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of, you know, how many players you've actually killed or who's who, especially since there are disguises. So I just like to know generally how many people are there. So I can see 1, 2, 3, one landed there, one landed over at that pool, and one went behind the rock. So where I like to land, there are two places. There's either that hut or there is this helipad. Now, I prefer to land on this helipad since the loot is better and the loot path is better from here, but you can land either of these two, they're just as good. But I like to land at this helipad. Now, as you can see, there is some guy guarding here, but almost, I think 99% of the time, there's a gun here, and if there's not a gun here, then just go straight to the chest, make sure you break the box underneath it to instantly loot it, turn around, and before this guy even notices or starts shooting, you should be able to take him out. But we get lucky here, we grab a pump, and we take him out, and he doesn't even know what's happening. So at this point here, I'm just looting. All of that. We now shake down this guy. Unfortunately, this shakedown doesn't locate any of the other enemies, because it wasn't close enough. But now we've got some shield, we've got an AR, we've got a shotgun, and we're looking good to go. I pick up his normal AR, and I drop the burst, because I just don't particularly like the burst, but you can use whichever one you like, assuming you get one. And then, yeah, so I like to come underneath these stairs, rather than going in main entrances, which is actually something I talked about in my previous video about looting the agency, which if you haven't seen yet, go check it out. Top right-hand corner, just press the little I, and you can go watch that video. But I never like to go in the big entrances. There are bots, there are turrets, there are normal players. It's just so risky. So what I like to do is I like to go in these sneaky ways. So what I do, I come over to these red telephone boxes, and if you're not sure what they do, well, they put under disguise so that bots and that won't shoot at you. Now keep in mind, this disguise will disappear as soon as you shoot somebody. I pick up this tack, just because I don't have an SMG, and I want to keep the tack for now. And then I come through this air vent to the left here. So like I said, I like to enter in sneaky locations rather than going straight into the main entrances. Now, I like to just run all the way through. I check here to see if there's anybody, but there is no one right now. So I actually just go all the way through. I like to go to this middle chest. I see a guy there, so I just quickly take him out. I like to go to this middle chest, loot it. I get another big shield. And then from here, I actually don't have a set looting pattern. Unlike the agency, where I have a very strict looting path that I like to follow. This place I actually don't. I sort of just run around, look for the other players, look for some bots to get some spare loot, some chests and stuff. But it is a confusing location, so really just running around and looking around is the best way to find stuff here, I've found. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed up these little boring parts of me just looking around, and I'll just come back to the parts where there's something important that I have to say. Now, at this point here, I come into this area. Now, this area is where the safe is, and this is where Skye will most often be. Sometimes she's up a layer, but generally she's down in this safe area. So, I didn't actually notice she was here at first. I thought she was up a layer, so I kill this bot, and then I notice her. And what I want you to notice here is this thing right here. Now, this is a turret. This does not too much damage, but it shoots very fast and will laser you if you're not careful. And as you can see here, the combination of the turret plus Skye's incredibly powerful AR results in me losing over half my health. But after I build, it's pretty easy to take her out. She's not very good at the game. And yeah, so I take her out. And then what I do here is I grab her mythical scar, as you can see there. And then the thing you've all been waiting for, the mythical grappler. So if you just look, excuse the pen tools and all of that, you look down there, we have the mythical grappler and the mythical scar. Now this scar has a 74 damage headshot, which is 2 higher than the golden scar. And the grappler, well, is just a grappler, but it has infinite shots, which is incredibly powerful. And then you have the shark keycard. Now this is what you use to get into the massive vault and get all the good loot. So you want to pick this up and keep it safe. Now what I do, instead of going straight to the vault, I med up so as not to be weak, so I can be strong enough to fight other people if I have to. And then what I like to do when I'm going to loot this safe is I like to come in from this tile here, because the turret is on this tile, so if you break it, that will deal with the turret. Now I like to place a wall behind me, and keep in mind, you cannot build above you. So what I like to do is when I put the keycard in, I like to just jump up and down with my shotgun and just make sure that there's nobody around while the safe is opening, because it does take a while to open the safe. Now, I go in the safe, and here's all the goodies in here. All the loot you could ever need will be in this area. Now, I would like to point out, before you go crazy to me in the comments, I know I don't loot the last supply drop, and I don't loot the last crate. This is because I see the zone closing in, and I also hear a guy coming behind me. Now, one of the worst possible things that could happen is getting stuck fighting in a safe. You can't build in the safe, and it is so awkward because it's such a small area. It's like a box fight without building. So you want to avoid that at all costs, which is why I left early. I would also like to point out that if you die in the safe, all your hard work that you put into getting into the safe is now completely lost. So that's why I choose to leave before fully looting the place, because I just don't want to get stuck in a fight. Now, this house will sometimes be looted, sometimes won't. I actually got lucky, and in this house we actually got one of those epic chests, which contains epic or above weapons. So yeah, I just opened this chest. I got an RPG, but I chose not to take it. I'm not actually sure why I didn't take it. Maybe I just didn't really notice, but yeah, for whatever reason, I didn't take it. But if you're smart, you would have taken it. Anyway, also I'd like to point out, you can hide in these, but you can't go back the way you came. So once you go through that toilet, you can't come back. So I can't go back into the safe via this toilet. There's no way for me to do that. Anyway, so now that everything is looted, I grab this boat. This boat will always be here, and I drive off. Now, if somebody has landed at that location and has already taken the boat, there's another one here, so don't get too worried. You still will be able to get into zone. Something else that I would like to point out about this location is it is on the very, very edge of the map. So when the zone goes to the other side of the map, you will need to get one of these boats, if possible, because it's extremely, extremely far to get to zone most times. I've only had maybe 10 times out of the 100 plus times I've landed here where the zone's actually been on me. So yeah, just grab a boat and just head to zone, because it will be quite far away. Okay, so as you can see here, the Grappler is incredibly good for getting high ground, which is mainly what it's used for. And so generally, you don't need to worry how high any build battle is. You can generally get high ground on anybody. So here's a bit of an awkward situation. I'm trying to kill this guy, and in the process of trying to kill him, somebody else actually starts pushing us, which you'll see in a second. So this guy starts building up. He gets lasered. I'm not actually sure where this guy was at the time, but now I use my Grappler to get all the way up to the top. I take a shot at this guy. I box up. I go back up to the top. And here is where a huge, huge, useful thing that you can do with the Grappler is. Now, not only can you use Grappler to get up to high places, but you can use the Grappler to basically rotate across the ground, or travel quickly across the ground incredibly efficiently. As you can see here, you don't need to worry about fall damage. As long as you just cling onto something higher than you, you won't take fall damage. But do be careful, because if you don't grapple onto something, or like right here, if you miss your Grappler, like I did here, you're extremely vulnerable to getting shot. You can't build, you can't shoot, there's nothing you can do. So missing a Grappler shot on something is really bad, so also keep that in mind. Luckily, this guy's aim was completely terrible, and he missed all his shots. Then I just set up a little mini base. I make sure to protect behind me. And then you'll see here, the power of this weapon is just so unbelievably strong. I see the guy on the roof. I take a few shots. I kill him. Luckily, he was pretty weak. And now, because this AR is just so strong, it rips through builds, and I'm able to easily take out this guy. No stress. There's that 74 damage headshot. And, yeah. Now that bit there was actually funny, because he placed a launch pad for me, which I didn't expect. But yeah, so what I do is I actually land on this tree, and I actually laser him. Well, when I say laser, I mean I hit him once. And because I've got the Grappler, once he's weak, I can push him super fast, and then it's an easy kill from here. And so you can see that the power of the Grappler is just so good. Like, it's such a strong weapon. At this point, I choose to take the pump, and I choose to take the sniper. I drink this big pot, and now something that I want to point out is this medkit here. Now, I don't pick up this medkit, the one that you just saw. I don't pick it up, but I keep it in the back of my mind. And this is something that good players often do, is, you know, when we see a medkit or some spare big shield or something that's in the zone, you keep it in the back of your mind, because you never know when you're going to need it. You know, you might take fall damage, especially since I'm using a Grappler. There is always the possibility that you grapple onto something, don't grapple onto the next thing, and then take fall damage, and just, you know, general things like that. So again, I remember that this big shield's here, but I don't pick it up. Now, I don't think I actually end up using that big shield, but you'll see in just a second here, while fighting this guy, I see that he hits himself, so what I do, I push. He's got the mythical drum gun. Now, the mythical drum gun, if you don't know how to get it, I have a video on it, which is in the card above, so just go check that out. But the mythical drum gun, plus this scar, plus a good shotgun, you will be guaranteed to win a game, especially with the Grappler. So here I am, I've got a mythic drum gun, a mythic AR, a mythic Grappler, and then a purple pump. And I'm pretty much ready to kill anybody. So right now, I'm just using the Grappler to do one of its, most useful things, which is getting around the map. You can see here, it's so good for getting around the map. I'm able to travel around so fast. I'm looking for this guy, and I'm just able to travel so quickly, while also being hard to hit. Now, I hit this guy pretty hard. I know he's weak, and now I can get over to him quick. I did get a bit cocky. He started shooting me, and I did lose a lot of health here, down to 33 HP. I used the Grappler to try and get high ground, but at this point, I'm so low on HP that I think I should just mini up rather than going too aggressive. So I just mini up as much as I can. Then I go out the side. I fall, but I grapple up. And this is why it's so useful. Basically, you don't need to be scared of falling off stuff. I take this guy out. He's dead. Now, he had the Meowkles rifle. If you want to see a tutorial on how to get that, then let me know. I'll put a poll up if you'd like to see something like that. Just go answer that poll. But, yeah, I'm happy to do that. But for now, let's just focus on the Grappler and the Skye, because they're so OP. Anyway, so remember that the med kit, not a meb kit, the med kit that I was talking about? Well, I actually remember it, and before zone closes, I go back over to that location, and I pop that med kit. And this is what I mean by when you have spare meds and stuff, keeping that in the back of your mind is really important. Now, I'm not sure if I think I do go back to that car, maybe? No, by the time I popped that med kit, it was too late to go back and get that other big shield, unfortunately. But it doesn't actually matter, because we do end up winning this game. So yeah, it should be fine. So again, here I am just using the Grappler to get around the map really quickly. I stop by and get some mushrooms. I cannot stress enough, if you don't have full HP and you see these mushrooms, please, please, please use them. Because, like you saw in that previous fight, I got down to 30 HP. Now, I'm lucky that I didn't die, and sometimes a couple mushrooms can be the difference between winning the game and dying. Because, that 10 extra HP could be, what saves you from, a fall or a heavy hit. Anyway, so at this point, I go over to the supply drop, and I just take it just because I can. Like, I got so much loot, I don't even need this supply drop. I don't even need this big shield, really. But I take it, and I drink it. Now, again, there are two big pots, so I leave one here, and I keep it in the back of my mind that that big pot's there. So now, again, using the Grappler to get around quickly. It's so good for doing stuff like this. I see this guy. I come in from this side and realize this is a terrible angle because I couldn't see anything. And now what I do is what everybody hates. I spray this kid with the drum gun just to try and get some chip shots. Now, again, people hate spray and pray. I hate it, but if you've got the mythical drum gun, as much as I hate to say it, spraying and praying is a very good strategy, especially if you want to win games, because it's so strong. As you can see here, we knock all their shield off just in that little gratatata moment. And then we go over here, we shoot in again, we take that wall, we come in from a different side. I actually mess up the edit here a bunch of times, because I had a bit of a FPS spike, or FPS lag spike rather. I take this wall, I'm looking to kill this guy, and then basically I just run in, and it's pretty much over for him. He comes around, and he's dead. He does actually hit me pretty hard, but he's got two big pots for me. So I don't actually end up needing that previous big pot that I left earlier from the supply drop, because this guy actually had two. So I pop the two big... crikey, can't even talk. Pop the two big shields, and then I grab the minis, and then it's the final 1v1, and I'm looking around for this guy, and again, using my Grappler to get around quickly. And then I hear an RPG. As you can see, normally, if somebody was Skye basing like this, might be a bit of an issue to get up, especially if they had an RPG. But because I have the Grappler, I'm easily able to get up above him, drink my mini right here, And then I do miss a lot of shotgun shots. Keep in mind I recorded this quite early in the morning, so please forgive me. My aim was bad. I hadn't played many matches. Anyway, so I see this guy. I'm just following him, making sure he doesn't get away. He actually pops a launch pad, and this is the power of this Skye. Super fast firing, super accurate. I hit him for almost all his health out of the air. And now, a problem often that'll happen when you laser someone like that is they have plenty of time, especially when you're that far away. They have plenty of time to put on some minis and stuff before you get there. But with the Grappler, you can get to them so quickly that they barely have time to heal up. And as you can see here, I just come up here, I pull out a wall, and he ends up RPGing himself, and we do end up winning the game. So that concludes today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We did end up winning. It was a decent win. And yeah, so again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps you out. If it does, consider sharing it with a friend. And yeah, if you've watched till the end, thank you so much for sticking around. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.